Hear his real story.
Say that I have sold more kilograms of heroin in Maryland than any other single individual. I'm certain.
Connect Melvin to people in New York and give Melvin a good heroin connection.
Tell his true accounts of how he became the king of a heroin empire in Baltimore during the 70s.
Some millions of dollars right off the top. At some point they told him that they wanted me next.
And was ultimately framed by those in power.
They got a very corrupt police sergeant to put drugs on him.
I never thought I was going to jail. And he says, but I don't think you understand the gravity of what's happened to you here today. That there was a warrant being ready to be dropped on me to give you 120 years.
That was all manufactured, and it was on the say-so of an informant.
A gold card informant. He was going to be kidnapped as well.
They couldn't put an honest charge on him until 1975. That's the truth.
But they convicted me and sent me to the penitentiary. I'm a failure as a drug dealer. You will be too.
The documentary film by director Derek Thomas that's sure to have everyone talking. Division Pictures presents Melvin Williams' Life in the Game.
This isn't a war against drugs. This is a war against black folks.
Initiated my popularity was the fact that I gambled so long ago and so well at such a young age. And somehow, I'm not sure at this point even how it offended someone. But there came a time when some officers decided to make me a drug dealer and they put narcotics in my pocket, and the anger that it created drove me to be just what they said that I was at that point in time. The anger told me that since now I'm a drug dealer, I'd like to be the world's best.
Master Mitchell, how did you come to be involved with Master Melvin?
I've known Master Melvin, Mr. Williams rather, for like about 40 years. Everybody had mentors they picked. I chose Melvin as one of my mentors. I wanted to be like him, dress like him, carry the lifestyle he did. I was from the east side, but Melvin to me was like a mentor, a leader, and a person of just strength. I want to just kind of like learn those skills, survive in the street. So Melvin was like my hero.
So, Master Melvin, I mean, knowing that you was a part of the American Gangster, and I know I call you Master Melvin, I like to put that in because you are a martial artist. Are we correct, sir?
Yes, but I've kind of downplayed that, and the reason being is, in the life that I've lived, I didn't want to have that stigma of tough guy. So when we talk master at this point, we will essentially be talking about armor.
Yes, sir.
I would just like to be Melvin, and for those who really have known me back in the day, they've always called me Black. You're welcome to that.
Thank you, sir. I mean, please excuse me if I keep slipping back and saying master or sir.
It's all good. It's
yes,
all
sir.
good.
Yep.
That's the feel and the respect that you have for the art. I do as well.
Yes,
and
sir.
I don't mind telling you, I've got a degree in Taekwondo, Goju-Ryu, Shotokan, and Kung Fu. I've had 3.5 years of samurai training. But that's personal to me, just like a whole lot of I'd rather I defer that to Arnold. My expertise is the Constitution and law. I have studied the Constitution and law for 40 years, and that's what I'd like to impart to young people. What we need to know about our Black history, the Constitution and law.
Now, since the kids, we speak about youth, they have this strange stigma of gangster. What is the meaning of gangster in your own words?
Gangster is a statement and a title that was given to me by white America. And the reason why, I really don't know. But again, if you act in a manner that's against the principles that they adhere to or that they find fashionable, then they'll find a label for you. It's fashionable right now to sell movies and to propose oppositions, because if you're labeled gangster, those people that are after you are considered to be the good guy. I want to tell all of those young African Americans that aspire to be gangster that there's only one thing worse. He's a terrorist. But they want both of you to have the same thing. They want both of you dead.
Okay. Now, how important, I mean, because I think a lot of people associate the gangster movies with family, community, all those things. I don't know how those things are related, but just in your own words, how important is family and community to you?
Family and community, and I tell the young people around the planet who give me opportunity to talk to them, the young that aspire to be what I've been, I first try to make them understand what 26 and a half years of being in the penitentiary was like, what it's really all about, and how it's not fashionable, and how it wasn't fun. How watching perhaps maybe 200 at least murders, that's not fun. How watching young guys get raped in penitentiaries was not fun. And how when they go into federal institutions, thousands of miles away from home, that they're another person, a number, fresh meat. He's not the gangster that he was in his home state that gets priority treatment. He's going to be treated in a manner that he's never been advised of or had an idea about before. What I do, I try to make the community and that guy understands that if you're taking money out of the community, even in an illegal fashion, you are responsible for everything that goes on in it. Now, there are people that believe that the gangs really control violence and murder. I maintain that a gang member is a member of something. He is really not a controlled person. It's that guy that's making arrangements for 200 keys to show up in this area, be it cocaine or heroin. He's the guy that controls murder. He might not even know it. He can tell people, if you allow somebody to die while you're gaining the necessary money to buy this package, you are shut off. You are cut off. That will diminish the things that happen in his community. But I maintain that in that you are taking money out, it's your responsibility to see to it that the old lady can go to the store all hours of the night. That the kids don't be in the street when it's time for them to be in school. They listen to you. They hear you.
So, Master Mitchell, how did that play a role in your upbringing? You know,
based on the movies, man, these kids got a misconception about what a gangster is. The real gangsters of the United States government. They're the real gangsters. This stuff they're talking about, we got neighborhoods, we got turfs, we got blocks. The United States government got countries, they got the military, they got the Marines, they got the Navy. That's the real gangsters. Don't get it twisted now. These little kids in the corner, they dangerous. And nobody dangerous in the United States government who got the real atomic bombs, the 50 calibers, and the tanks. Those are considered, in my mind, the real gangsters.
Mr. Melvin, sorry.
It's all right.
Because martial arts changed my life and my family life and many people before me. How important was martial arts in the urban environments during the early, from what I understand, the 60s? I know the 70s, it was like in the movies and so forth, but it seems like since martial arts has been taken out of the urban environment, so anything that builds character under pressure, our kids begin to struggle. How important was urban expression of martial arts or black people teaching martial arts in our urban communities during your time?
It was everything to me. It formulated a kind of discipline that made you show up every day. Hurt, broke, without dollars and cents, without food, you showed up because it proposed a type of, I'm growing to go someplace. I'm going to be better at a whole host of things. And it instilled a kind of discipline in you that I think it's gone with me throughout my lifetime, especially a word. I maintain that the only thing that a man has in his life that he actually owns is his word. And he's got to honor that because kids and adults watch you to see that not only do you give a message, but that you are the message that you send. Now, on the last note that Arnold spoke about, the real gangster And you got to think about it. We in a country where there's no day that you can't go any place in that country and get some kind of substance to satisfy your habit, regardless of what amount. The kid on the corner that they turn the corners with these automobiles going in 4 and 5 directions and kick his door in, he's got just enough narcotics in there to be a pest. Somebody that has something that's as big as Air Force One or the C-1 planes that they come have to be bringing those kinds of substance in the country, and they got to be landing at some place where nobody's telling them how much they can land and what they're landing at. Now, they don't really have to know, but I maintain that that's an agency that has to be law enforcement. So far up that it's got to be a Marine, a Navy, an Air Force, but somebody's bringing those substances in major capacity. And none of us that have been legged or plagued as gangsters have anything close to a boat, a plane that will supply the necessary amount, not even for a neighborhood, much less for a city, a town, or for a country. We've been devastatingly misguided about who brings what and how much of it they bring. We are pests. The real gangsters, they cut the billions up long before it get here.
So when we talk about, I guess that misconception about being a gangster, when we go back to talking about what martial arts meant to you, I guess in the scheme of all of it is coming back down to self-respect. Would you say that?
Without a doubt.
So what can we do? I mean, why do you think that it's important to get that respect back established in our community, starting with the first kick or the first punch, or, I mean, whatever struggle, I mean.
Throughout America right now, there seems to be an epidemic, and everybody's concerned about gang and gang violence. So essentially, for the most part, we're talking about African American or Latino. Well, I maintain that when you get a young guy so involved in his physical well-being and the discipline that goes along with not teaching him a 9th degree move to take an eye out or to break a nose bone, when he learns only to punch correctly in the prospective order, as he grows up the ranks, he gets a kind of respect for himself and his peers, that when he's approached by somebody to be a member of a gang, he's gonna reject that for one most significant reason. He thinks he's a gang all by himself.
And Master Mitchell, so how important is it that you continue on that legacy through your instructions?
Well, I'm big on discipline. I believe the steps to success, steps to freedom, one of the steps is discipline. My meaning of discipline is doing things on your own without somebody reminding you or telling you. Martial arts, for me, my whole thing was like discipline. Doing things like my instructor telling me, making decisions, making choices on my own, just kind of like being my own man. Martial arts for me, I've been all over the world doing martial arts. I mean, I met some of the so-called greatest martial arts, but for me, I took up martial arts to become a person of high discipline and just high character. I feel like anybody that study martial arts, one of the main pieces is trying to establish discipline and security.
So, Mr. Melvin, when we talk about the values of like just, the art of fighting without fighting, I guess that's what you were saying. When we're okay inside, we can do remarkable things. Is that correct, sir?
Without a doubt.
So what do you think that, I guess, when we look at now the popularity of mixed martial arts and people breaking people down and grounding and pounding, because when you come up in the inner city, that's a common thing every day. And I thought that we're supposed to be taking our kids away from that, not trying to promote that and instill that in them. I mean, what would be your take on that, sir?
You got to look at what that comes from and what it comes for. You see that on white America, you see it in cages, and it's entertainment. The same way Michael Jordan played basketball and Snoop and all of the rest of them sing, that's entertainment. That's all about dollars and cents in America. The more gruesome, the more beat down it applies, that's what what is it, wrestling world, that's what they're all about. And so again, it's business, and business draws more money when it seemed to be more out of the mainstream, more gruesome.